Right now, it seems like everyone has an opinion on whether or not the market has crashed or if a crash is coming. But a lot of people who have opinions don't have numbers to back them up. And in this video, I'm going to give you the real numbers for Summit County, Colorado real estate market in summer of 2022. I'm Betsy, and I'm a realtor here in Summit County, Colorado. And that includes Breckenridge, Copper, Keystone, Dillon, Frisco, and I'm going to tell you what's going on in every single one of those markets, why it's happening, what those numbers mean, and whether or not I think right now is a good time to buy. The first thing you probably want to know is, have prices dropped? And the answer is yes, but the but is really, it depends on how far we zoom out, the type of property we're looking at, where we're looking at in the county. But on average, between May and July, prices dropped from an average of 1.4 million to an average of 1.1 million. And that's if we look at month over month sales. So the average, if we look at the average of May to the average of July. If we look at rolling 3-month averages, that difference drops from an average of 1.3 million to an average of 1.27 million, which is a drop, but not so significant. And then if we go and look at individual towns and individual types of properties, that answer changes as well. And the truth is that most of that price drop has been driven by properties that are larger than 2,500 square feet. The properties from 1,500 square feet to right under 2,500 square feet dropped in June, which is lagging sales from May, which is mud season, but rebounded in July. And the properties that are over 2,500 square feet, those dropped from an average of 2.6 million to an average of 2.4. So we did see a drop in those larger properties. But if you're looking for a condo, the truth is that we really didn't see a drop in those. The drop that we saw over the course of the spring in condo prices was completely regained the month of July back up to January prices. So I wouldn't say that prices have come down in condos. Those changes like that where we see a drop and then we see a rebound are why we like to look at numbers over rolling month averages versus just 1 month to 1 month, because like I said, right, the month of June dipped across all categories, but that's because May is mud season, and historically, seasonally, May is down. And if you look at the markets of Copper Mountain and Keystone, those towns just straight up shut down. Like Starbucks is closed, so sales drop with that as well. So some of this is seasonal. If you look at it town by town, that's where we can also see other differences. Some towns dropped in price, and some towns still saw record high average sale prices. Breckenridge did see a drop in price. The condos dropped about 25% from May to July, and single family homes dropped about 12%. And that's the town that saw the biggest price drops. Compared to Dillon and Frisco, it saw record high average sale prices, continuing their upward trend for an average of 1.3 and nearly 1.5 million respectively between Dillon and Frisco. Like I mentioned, the towns of Keystone and Copper are hard to really tell what's happening there yet because of lagging sales. Keystone picks back up a little bit in summer when their summer festivals come in, but we really won't be able to tell what happens to Keystone prices until we get back into another ski season. So why are these price changes happening? The two reasons are the increase in interest rates and locally short-term rental limitations. In May, there was a short-term rental moratorium that was put across all unincorporated parts of the county, and Breckenridge has had their cap in place since November, and that means that we actually did see some impact in those towns. The short-term moratorium could be blamed for the price drop that we saw in Breckenridge. We hadn't really seen prices change yet, but I think that short-term rental cap where you can't get a new short-term rental license is starting to impact sales in Breckenridge. But the towns of Frisco and Dillon that saw those record high sale prices, they don't currently have any limitations on short-term rentals other than how many people you can put into the unit per night, but you can still get licenses there. And I think that's part of the reason why we didn't see them impacted by interest rates. The other reason that we're seeing the higher price points more impacted is that the larger the home, the higher the price, the bigger difference a rise in interest rate makes. For every about 1% that an interest rate goes up, a buyer's purchasing power drops by 10%. 10% of $500,000 is a much smaller number than 10% of 4 million. And I think that's why we're seeing more of a shift in the upper price points. So the real question is, are we actually seeing a softening in the market? If all of these numbers are kind of not definitive, they dropped here, they didn't drop there, they rebounded here, they didn't rebound there, what is actually going on? We can look at things other than price to determine if we're seeing a softening in the market. And one of those things is inventory on market. We've seen inventory nearly double from about 1.8 months of inventory in May to just over 3 months of inventory at the end of July. And when we say months of inventory, that's how long it would take us to sell through our current inventory at the current rate of offer acceptances. Increased inventory does suggest a shift in the market. Additionally, we've seen price drops happen, which we haven't really seen much of in the last couple of years. In the last week of July alone, 12% of the properties on the market took a price drop. So those two things indicate that we are seeing a little bit of softening in market. But have we completely left a seller's market and swung all the way to a buyer's market? The answer to that is no. A seller's market is considered anything under 6 months. 6 months is balanced. Anything over 6 months is considered a buyer's market. Properties over 2,500 square feet are at about 6 months of inventory. So those are pretty close to a buyer's market. And I will tell you that the offers that I've got accepted recently reflect that. So can you get a deal? Should you wait? Is now a good time to buy? My suggestion is that you shouldn't wait, because prices on average, if we look at year over year versus rolling 3-month averages or month to month, year over year, we're still up about 20%. Home prices are still going up. So I wouldn't wait. And with this shifting market, some sellers are nervous. You can find deals if you look for homes that aged on market or that were overpriced initially, that have then had to take big hits and price drops below where they might have sold for if they were priced properly. And if you want to know more about how to get a deal in any market or how to price your home so that doesn't happen to you, make sure you subscribe to this channel, because I do have videos on both of those topics coming out later this month. If you have other questions about whether or not it's the right time for you to buy, we should talk individually, please find my contact information below or find me on Instagram. And I'd be happy to talk about what your specific wants are, because like I mentioned in this video, whether or not the market has shifted in your favor really depends on where you're looking and the kind of property you'd like to buy.